Welcome to Season 6 of Penny Dreadful, the Magic format with one rule. Only 1 cent cards are allowed. All sets since the beginning of Magic are legal. The card pool rotates with every set release and is locked in all season. The format is supported by 4 weekly tournaments and league play with a monthly ladder reset. Before we get to the matches, let's take a look at the meta this season so far. Red deck wins and Monowhite Heroic have been a dominant aggro force with multiple combo decks not far behind. Control and mid-range sitting a tier down, but all 4 archetypes have deck lists showing competitive win rates. Stick around, here's a look at the 4 tournament finals matches coming up. Let's take a look at our first matchup from the November 19th tournament finals. We have Meka playing Hyperwave, a strong combo deck named after Hypergenesis and Parallax Wave, versus Xinlisupreme with the strongest aggro deck in the current meta, Monowhite Heroic. Xinli on the play with nothing but a Plains turn 1. Turn 2 Seeker comes down and Meka is still on the starting line. Turn 3 with Defiant Strike. And another Defiant Strike. Griff's Boon. Xinli swinging an 8-5 flying lifelink at an empty board. And Meka with no response again. Turn 4 launched the fleet, and now Wojek Siren. Meka has to make something happen. And there it is. Captured Sunlight into Hypergenesis. Flooding the board with Bogarden Hellkites, 15 direct damage, and a Magister Sphinx. Enough to take back what appeared to be a hopeless game. Meka takes the win. Into game 2. Xinli on the play again and gets a Trailblazer on the board first turn. And double Cartouche on turn 2. Everything's going according to plan for Xinli, getting 8 damage in. Meka just trying to hold on long enough to get that deck online. Xinli swings for 7 and takes Meka down to 1 life on turn 4. Planar Outburst clears the board, but with 1 life, Meka is not in a secure position. Hoplite now, and that alone is enough to win with no response. Cloudblazer buys another turn. More pressure from Xinli with another check. Cloudblazer and Elvish Piper bring Meka back to life. Meka on turn 7 gaining momentum and turning this game around. Turn 8, 4 Cloudblazers on board, and there's the Parallax Wave. Hyperwave is in full swing, and Xinli now has an empty board and no options. Meka holds on once again long enough to take complete control of the game, and it's looking hopeless for Xinli. There's the concede, and Meka takes the match 2-0 to win the Saturday tournament. And here's a look at the November 19th tournament results. Into match 2, we have Baker T99 with Reanimator, a discard combo deck versus Nighthawk, playing Blue-White Heroic. Baker on the play. A turn 2 Merfolk Looter to help get those creatures in the graveyard. A hero down, and Nighthawk's deck starting to gain traction. Turn 3 Animate Dead on Bogard and Hellkite takes down hero with 3 damage to the face. Trailblazer with a cartouche, now a 2/6 flying, keeps Nighthawk in the game. Baker drawing 4 and discarding 2. Stave Off takes care of the Hellkite for now, and it looks like Nighthawk is back in it, getting in 6 damage on turn 4. Animate Dead on Hellkite. And another on Pathrazor. Nighthawk swings and kills the Hellkite. Hoplite down after combat. Stave Off again, clearing a huge threat. Unburial Rites puts the pressure back on. Aqueous Form makes it unblockable, and Nighthawk going for broke, swinging with everything. Baker down to 4 life. Hellkite attacks for 5, but Baker isn't done yet. Flashback on Burial Rites puts Cataract Leviathan into play and clears the battlefield. Trailblazer. Aqueous Form. Cartouche. Baker attacks to no effect. And that is game for Nighthawk. Baker on the play with a Magus on turn 2, trying to put that combo together. Battle-wise Hoplite. Cartouche for Nighthawk on turn 3, but Baker shuts it down with an unsummon. Turn 4, reanimate the Sphinx. And again for the Hellkite. Nighthawk in serious trouble on turn 4, hanging on by a thread. Baker increases the lead further with Unburial Rites on a 9/9 Annihilator. And Nighthawk is left with 7 life and 1 turn to find a way. Attacking full board. Ajani's presence lets Hoplite survive and get 4 lifelink damage in. Baker attacks and this is gonna hurt. Nighthawk forced to sacrifice lands and there are no more options. Baker takes it and we head into game 3. Nighthawk on the play. Another turn 2 Megas for Baker. A Defiant Strike in desperation to try and get a card to play, and he finds one. Defiant Strike on turn 4 for Nighthawk. Things are not going according to plan here for the aggro deck. Baker reanimates a Sphinx. And a Leviathan to clear the battlefield. Brings the Leviathan back again, and Nighthawk is sitting naked on turn 6. What's the answer here? Baker can clear the board as many times as he wants now. And that's exactly what he does, again resetting the board. Baker appears to have this game completely locked down. Is there any hope? Hero. Battlewise Hoplite. And Aqueous Form. Attacks for 4. Reanimates another Leviathan. Bogard and Hellkite for 5 direct damage. And another puts the hurt on. 6 life left, what can Nighthawk do? And there's the concede. Baker T99 takes the match 2-1 to win the tournament. And here's a look at the November 25th tournament results. Before we get to the next matches, let's take a look at the November League leaderboard results. For match 3, we have Briar Moss playing ramp with Devoid Cruelty versus Xinlisupreme, again in the finals with Monowhite Heroic. We join this match in Game 2 with Xinlisupreme ahead 1-0. Briar Moss on the play. Turn 1 Trailblazer for Xinli. Defiant Strike and Cartouche of Solidarity gets 4 damage in. Briar Moss ramping up. Seeker of the Way and God's Willing down. Xinli swings for 5. Briar Moss making some tapping decisions and plays Herald of Kozilek. And gone missing on the Trailblazer. Xinli replaces it immediately and attacks with the Seeker. God's Willing and Faith's Shield on Trailblazer also pumps up Seeker to 4/4 lifelink. Sacrifices Hedron Archive, drawing 2 cards. And Control Magic steals the Trailblazer. Thopter Spy Network now in play. And an enchantment for Xinli as well, Myth Realized. The first Thopter and 2 Dread statuaries now becoming creatures. Defiant Strike lets Xinli trade a token for one of them. Erases Thopter Spy Network and passes the turn. Another Herald for Briar. Elsewhere Flask and attack for 1. Another Seeker, but Briar Moss interrupts with a clue draw. Cruel Ultimatum, that hurts. Attacking for 5, doing 10 damage total, and a second Herald down before passing the turn. Cartouche on Seeker. But Spell Shrivel shuts it down. Attacks with the lifelink, back up to 12 life. And a second Cruel Ultimatum. Myth Realized becomes a creature, but Burning Oil puts it in the graveyard. Xinli down to 2 life and no cards in hand. There's the concede. Into Game 2. Xinli on the play and turn 1 Trailblazer comes down. Phalanx leader now? Wojek Siren and a second Wojek Siren for 9 damage on turn 3. Flask draws a card. Cartouche of Solidarity on Phalanx leader, and Briar Moss is down to only 3 life. Concede and Xinlisupreme wins the tournament. And here's a look at the November 26th tournament results. And now, for the 4th and final match, we have Back Alley G playing Heroic Rites versus Eugensus with Mono Red Big. Eugensus on the play, but no one gets anything down turn 1. Crone Crusader now with a hammer hand, but Burst Lightning shuts it down, still gets a token out of it. Sin Prodder on turn 3. Hoplite for Back Alley G. Pumps it with Hammer Hand. And Consuming Fervor. Attacks for 8. Village Messenger and Chandra's Phoenix come down. 3 damage from the Sin Prodder. Another Consuming Fervor brings Hoplite up to 10-10. Attacks with everything. Rush of Adrenaline brings it up to 13-12 trample, and that's game. Eugensus on the play again in game 2. Turn 1 Rakdos Cackler. Same for Back Alley G. Ash Zealot turn 2 and swings for 4. Consuming Fervor and 5 damage for Back Alley G. Blood Knight from the sideboard and 4 damage in return. Four also for Back Alley G and a Goblin after combat. Mizium Mortar smashes the Cackler, and Eugensus swings with everything for 6. Back Alley G with only 1 mountain on turn 4. Plays a Hoplite to buy another turn. But it's not enough. Chain Lightning for the win. Game 3 now. Back Alley G on the play with a turn 1 Flameblade Adept. Cackler in response. Consuming Fervor and attacks for 4. Fire Drinker Crusader after combat. Risky not to sideboard that out in this matchup. Eugensus plays Ash Zealot and gets 2 damage in. Back Alley clears the way with Chain Lightning and swings for 5, pulling ahead 17-11 on life. Two damage and a Volshock Refugee from the sideboard. That's a huge card in the red mirror. Attacking and Rush of Adrenaline on Satyr. Rites of Initiation, and Back Alley G discards everything to pump those creatures. With Trample takes Eugensus down to 1 life. Sin Prodder and 5 damage. Burst Lightning clears the Adept, but it's all for naught. The Barbarian Ring alone is enough to take the match, and Back Alley G wins the Sunday tournament. And here's a look at the December 3rd tournament results. Thanks so much for watching. For more info on the format, check out pdmtgo.com. A very special thanks to Card Hoarder for providing the weekly tournament prizes and MTGO Traders for the monthly league prizes.